Unit 10, page 85. Read. Exercise 2. Read and listen to the text.
It's written all over your face. We have all developed ways of hiding our true feelings. Who hasn't answered the question, "How are you?" with a forced smile and a "Fine, thanks," when the opposite is the case? In fact, most of us think we can keep our feelings to ourselves by using a few appropriate words which will stop further questioning. Furthermore, people who frequently appear in public often receive training on how to make their body language support rather than contradict what they are saying. However, there are a few people who have an innate ability to notice the difference between the words a person uses and what is written on their face. What's more, with a little patience, we can all learn to detect the inconsistencies between a speaker's words and what they really feel. Until the 1960s, it was believed that facial expressions differed from culture to culture. Psychologist Paul Ekman from California University decided to test this theory by travelling the world with photos of men and women displaying different emotions. He met people such as tribes in the jungles of Papua New Guinea and stressed commuters in Tokyo, but found that everybody agreed on what emotions were shown on the faces in his photos. An angry face to a Libyan was also an angry face to an Argentinian. But his research also led to another conclusion. There are people who can tell if someone is lying or telling the truth, or if someone is unpleasant or friendly just by looking at their face. The big question, of course, was how. In an attempt to answer that question, Ekman decided to study the human face in great detail. Over the next 7 years, he examined every facial expression that the muscles could make. He then created a library of thousands of facial expressions. Each expression was associated with a human emotion, and he catalogued them all in a 500-page document. It contains descriptions and illustrations of all the different human emotions that the face can show. Then Ekman made an important discovery. He found that it's impossible for people to always hide their true feelings. He spent hours watching video film of people speaking in public and discovered that even the best prepared speakers were not always able to control their facial expressions. He saw that when people deliberately try to hide their emotions, a very brief facial expression, lasting less than a second, flashes across their faces. These expressions, named micro-expressions by Ekman, are the ones that reveal a speaker's real feelings. Ekman realized that if a person was trained to look out for these micro-expressions, they could learn more about the speaker's emotions. The secrets that only naturally gifted face readers had been able to detect could now be studied by everybody. Since then, lots of practical applications have been found for Ekman's painstaking research. Psychiatrists use it to help them detect the true mental state of their patients. Cardiologists use it to check on how their heart patients really feel, and police forces use it when interrogating suspects. It has even been used by the makers of computer-created cartoon films, such as Shrek and Toy Story, to make sure their characters' faces reflect real human emotions. Ekman's work has shown that when we are in a conversation, we should watch as well as listen carefully to what people are saying. That way, we can perhaps learn even more than we expected.
Unit 10, page 88. Listen. Exercises 1 and 2. Listen to the advice about interviews.
So I've come here today to give you some tips on what to do when you attend interviews. Until now, I suspect most of you have never had to attend a formal interview, but at the end of next year, you will be going to interviews to enter university or to find a job. Now, can anyone tell me what things we should take into account when we go to an interview?
Arriving on time?
Exactly. Punctuality. It's much better to spend half an hour being nervous waiting than arriving late. What else?
Appearance.
Yes, our appearance. The way we dress for an interview clearly communicates the way we feel about the university course or job we are applying for. In fact, they say that an interviewer makes up their mind about the person they're interviewing after just 5 minutes. And if the first impression you make is bad, it can be very difficult to correct it. So if you turn up in creased clothes and looking dishevelled, the interviewer will probably interpret this as a sign that you are uninterested at best and a sloppy worker at worst.
Excuse me?
Yes?
I don't think that's fair. Maybe you're quite industrious, but you're just not interested in clothes.
That's true, but the interviewer doesn't know that. They don't know anything about you except what they've read on your CV. So that's why you have to be single-minded about the interview and prepare for it like an exam. And remember that your appearance is under examination as well. A well-dressed candidate suggests they are meticulous at their work. You should also be neat and tidy and make sure you get a good night's sleep the night before. You want to look awake and not sleepy. Another thing to do is to research the clothes the people wear at the place you're having the interview. Check the pictures on their website or wait outside the office or the university department that you want to go to and make a note of how the people dress. If you go to the interview looking like the people that already work there, the interviewer will already think you fit in. Now, can anybody tell me...
Unit 10, page 91. Language skills. Exercise 1. Listen and check.
Oh, you look a bit dishevelled this morning. What's up?
I didn't sleep well. I was preparing for my exchange trip to Spain all night. I was studying the local customs because I don't want to do anything inappropriate and lose face when I'm there.
It's not that different, is it?
By and large, no. But I'm going to a town off the beaten track in the Pyrenees Mountains, and I want to make a good impression.
Well, what's the biggest difference then?
The daily timetable for a start. The kids have to stay in school until 5:30 in the evening.
Wow! That's 2 hours later than here. What time do they start?
At 8:30.
At 8:30? They sound really industrious. I don't think you'll survive so much hard work.
Well, they have a 2-hour lunch break.
A 2-hour lunch break?
Yes, but I'm not going to be idle. I'm going to use the time to study the local languages.
Languages? How many languages do they speak?
2. Catalan and Spanish. With a long day like that, I'll have to go to bed early.
You certainly will. Well, I hope you keep in touch and let me know how it's going.
Of course I will, if I've got the time.
Everyday English 10. Teacher's Book. Page 120. Talking about mobile phones. Exercise 1. Read and listen to the dialogue.
Hi, Ben. Is that your new mobile phone?
Yes, it is. What do you think?
It's a touchscreen. Nice. Has it got Wi-Fi?
Yes, it has. I can go on the internet whenever I want to.
Does it come in any other colour than silver?
Yes, you can also have it in black, pink or blue.
Are you on contract or pay as you go?
I'm on a contract. It works out cheaper that way.
How long is the contract for?
24 months. Then I can change to another company if I want to.
How many free minutes have you got?
300 and unlimited text messages.
Did you get any other free gifts?
Yes, they gave me an MP3 player with the phone.
Really? So how much do you pay per month?
£15.
Well, you've got a pretty good deal there. Do you think they'd give me the same one?
I don't know. You'll have to call them and ask.
Everyday English 10. Teacher's Book. Page 120. Talking about mobile phones. Exercises 3 and 4. Listen to the dialogue.
Hello, Pete. How are you?
I'm good. You?
I'm fine, thank you. But I've got a problem.
Oh?
I got this text message from Steve and I don't understand it. Can you help me?
Okay. Let's have a look.
Oh, wait a minute. Here it is.
Right. Well, you know that the numbers mean the same as the words, right?
Right.
So, forgot means forgot. And the number 2 means 2.
Oh.
Soz means sorry. So the first bit means, sorry, I forgot to call you last night.
Oh, right. The next bit has something to do with the cinema, doesn't it?
That's right. It says, why don't we go to the cinema tomorrow?
So, tomorrow is tomorrow.
Yes.
What does the last bit mean?
WB? It means right back.
I wouldn't have got that either.
No. It's really hard to understand text messages in a different language. I know. Why don't you surprise your friend and send him a text message back?
That's a great idea. Will you help me?
Literature Corner 5. Page 92. Exercise 1. Read and listen.
The Smile by William Blake. There is a smile of love, and there is a smile of deceit, and there is a smile of smiles in which these two smiles meet, and there is a frown of hate, and there is a frown of disdain, and there is a frown of frowns which you strive to forget in vain, for it sticks in the heart's deep core, and it sticks in the deep backbone, and no smile that ever was smiled, but only one smile alone, that betwixt the cradle and grave it only once smiled can be, but when it once is smiled, there's an end to all misery.
Skills Roundup 9 to 10. Page 93. Listen. Exercises 1 and 2. Listen to a talk about a Native American woman's life.
Life on the reservations at the end of the 19th century was hard for the Native Americans. They had seen their old way of life disappear, and they were having problems adapting to the modern world introduced by the European immigrants. Chief Iron Eye, the last chief of the Omaha tribe, was keen that his 4 children should learn both the traditional ways of the Native Americans and also the new ways of the settlers. He realized that if they were to have a future, they needed to go to school, just as most North American children did. One of his daughters, Susan, was an outstanding student, and at 14 she left the reservation to attend a boarding school. Susan loved studying, and what was hard work for others came naturally to her. In fact, her results were so good that she was awarded a gold medal for educational achievements. However, this was the 19th century, and the future, even for an extremely intelligent student, wasn't very bright for a Native American woman away from her reservation. At the age of 18, Susan returned home and decided to work as a teacher at the reservation school. Then 2 events occurred that were to change her life. First, she saw how a Native American woman died because the local European doctor wouldn't give her medical attention. This event made her determined to become a doctor so that she could help her people. Secondly, she met Alice Fletcher, a scientist who was studying the Omaha tribe. Fletcher became seriously ill, and Susan cared for her and helped her recover her health. Susan's skills impressed Fletcher so much that she encouraged and helped Susan to leave the reservation again, this time to study medicine. Susan attended the Woman's Medical School of Pennsylvania, the world's first medical school for women, and her single-minded approach helped her finish her medical studies a year earlier than the rest of her class. She then spent the next 2 years finishing her degree at a hospital in Philadelphia before returning to the Omaha Reservation, the first Native American woman to become a doctor. Susan fulfilled the promise she had made, and she worked as a doctor for both Native Americans and the settlers. And 2 years before her death in 1913, she was able to see another dream come true when she opened a hospital near the reservation. Chief Iron-Eye's determination that his daughter should receive a good education was not just good for her. It also benefited the whole Omaha tribe, and she became an example for all young Native Americans who wanted to go to university.